Have you ever wanted to make your own homemade Snickers ice cream bars? Well, I'm going to show you how to do it step by step. Keep watching. Before I show you how to make these Snickers ice cream bars, I think we should take a look back and see how the candy bar came to be. In 1930, Frank and Ethel Mars invented the Snickers candy bar. It originally sold for just 5 cents, and they named it Snickers after their family horse. Since the 1930s, the company has come a long way and they no longer make the candy by hand. Machinery is now used to make Snickers bars, and more than 15 million of them are produced every single day. Through the years, they made lots of different candies. In 1989, that's when they introduced the Snickers ice cream bar. And that leads us to where we are now, because I'm going to show you how to make a homemade version of this Snickers ice cream bar. The first thing we need to do is make our ice cream. I'm going to make a simple no churn ice cream, so you don't need an ice cream machine to make this, and you only need a few ingredients. First, we're going to put 2 cups of heavy whipping cream into a large bowl. We're going to whisk this on high until it forms stiff peaks. All right, so it takes a couple minutes to do this, but you know you form stiff peaks when you can pull it and it kind of pulls up. The fun way to check to see if it's actually formed stiff peaks is to take it and hold it over your head. If nothing falls out, it is good. If it falls out, you gotta start over. Next, we're gonna add to this a 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk. So this is gonna give our ice cream the sweetness. That's why we're not adding sugar to it. And because this is peanut butter, we're going to add 1 cup of peanut butter to this. Just make sure you use smooth peanut butter. At this point, we don't want to mix it up, but we do want to fold in all these ingredients. So just take a large spoon and we're just going to fold it in. Every time we go around, make sure we incorporate all those ingredients. And we're going to do this until we have a nice smooth color and all those ingredients have been incorporated in. All right, when you're satisfied that all those ingredients have been mixed in thoroughly, we are going to move on to the next step. At this point, I'm moving my ice cream aside and I'm bringing in my mold. This is a very simple silicone mold, and I like it because it's only about 2.5 inches long. It is quite deep, so I'm only going to fill this about halfway with the ice cream right now. So each one of these we're going to fill, and you could do it many different ways. I'm just going to use a spoon and fill that mold in. And again, we're only going to go about halfway up. All right, once these are filled to your liking, we're just going to take this. I have it in a tray, and I'm going to tap it a few times just to even out that ice cream. At this point, we're going to put this in our freezer for at least 3 hours. It's better if it sits overnight. Next, we're going to make our homemade caramel. You want to use a stainless steel heavy bottom pot to make this. Start out with 1 cup of sugar, just 1 cup of granulated sugar. And we're going to bring this over to the stove. Now, before you even start, I highly suggest you prepare some of the other things we're going to need. I have heavy whipping cream, 1/2 cup in here. And I also have 6 tablespoons of butter. This is unsalted. But we're not going to put those in yet. First, over to the stove. We got this on the stove. We want to turn our heat on medium. And with a wooden spoon, we want to continuously stir this. And as you see, it's turning a different color here. All right. And you can see that sugar is melting pretty good here. All right, so now we're going to add our 6 tablespoons of butter. It will boil up, but keep stirring. You might want to turn your heat to low now. And you want to do this until all that butter has incorporated in and mixed in nicely. This is why we prepare our stuff ahead of time. We're going to add in our 1/2 cup of heavy cream. It will boil up a little bit. We're going to slowly add it in as we stir. And you want to stir it in for about a minute. All right, now that it's stirred in really good, let it boil for 1 minute. All right, it's been a minute. We're going to turn off our heat. Give it another little mix here and let it settle down. All right, so as you see, it's very liquidy right now. And what we want to do is just let it sit there. And as it cools down, it will thicken up. So I let our caramel sit out for about an hour and it's firmed up a little bit, not too firm, right? And we're going to move that aside and we'll bring in our ice cream. Remember when we made our ice cream and put it in these molds? I'm keeping them in the molds. There's a reason why I only filled it half full. We are now Going to take our caramel, take a spoonful. You might want to take 2 spoons and kind of push it out onto our ice cream. It's important not to do this with the caramel too hot. Next, we're going to add some peanuts. Just add a few peanuts to this. About 5 or 6 peanuts should be good. When we're done adding our caramel and our nuts, we're just going to put this back in the freezer. It doesn't have to stay in there long, only about 10 minutes. Now we're going to melt down some chocolate. Make sure you pick some good quality milk chocolate. We're going to melt down about a cup of this chocolate, and then we're going to cover up our ice cream bars. All right, our chocolate has melted down. I made it nice and runny, but not too runny. It's very important we don't do that. We're going to bring in our ice cream bars that we had in the freezer. First thing I need to do is we're going to pop them out one by one. So I should have had it in the freezer a little bit longer, but let's try one out and see how we do. First thing I'm going to do is take one of these and just smear a little chocolate on the bottom. Then set it down on that. Then we're going to pour some chocolate over top of it. Now, I want to get it perfect. Nice, smooth consistency. I know it's a lot of chocolate that I'm pouring on this bar. Now, once we have it on there, we're going to take this and tap it down. Just put it back in the freezer, and that way it doesn't melt. All right, as you see, the wire rack thing didn't turn out too well. And if you look at the one I made, the top looks fine. The problem is the bottom, not so good. So plan B here is get some wax paper, and we're going to do the same thing, but I'm just going to dip it in some chocolate completely and then put it directly on the wax paper. We can get rid of this. Now I decided to let my ice cream sit in the freezer overnight. I wanted to get it nice and hard so it'll come off nice, and it works out so much better this way. So we're going to take this now. I have a butter dish that I put the chocolate in, the melted chocolate. I'm going to dip it in there. Don't leave it in there too long. Flip it over. Cover it really good. Remember, this is hot chocolate with ice cream, so we don't want to sit it in there too terribly long. Take this, shake off the excess, and put it on some wax paper. And just like I said before, we don't want to do a lot of them at once. Just do a few and put them in the freezer so they can quickly harden up. All right, now we're going to cut it open and see if it looks like a real Snickers ice cream bar. Look at that. Now the only way to tell for sure if it looks like a real Snickers bar in the inside is if I open up a real Snickers bar. Let's see how we did. Now of course mine are a little smaller, but not bad. All right, let's open this one up. It looks pretty close. Let's look side by side. Mine, Snickers. I think I did a good job. Okay, it's time for the taste test. I'm gonna dig in to one of our homemade Snickers bars. That's delicious. Let me tell you, this is spot on. The ice cream, dead match. Exactly how it tastes in the real thing. Now the chocolate, I used a different types of chocolate than they used, but I used a very good quality chocolate, so it tastes good. It just has a slightly different taste than the regular Snickers bar. But if you want to make this at home, this is going to taste pretty much just like the store-bought one. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me make these homemade Snickers ice cream bars. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. Also hit that big red subscribe button. You get new videos all the time. Check out this video right here. And until then, I'll see you next time. It has, I can make 12 of them. I'll start over. Now the fun way to check to see if it forms stiff peak is to take it. No. Go with the solid heavy bottom. No. Hit that big red subscribe button. You get subscribe.